Hey, I'm Rich Goteri. This is Michael Malai.
Michael Mili, in some aspects, Michael Mili, some aspects, Loretta. As if anybody knows that. From Analyze This, great character.
No need to bring up your past. What's going on?
Nothing much. We were going to talk today a little bit about method writing.
Method writing. Yep, I believe we. I don't know if we started. I think we started method writing. I don't know. I've never heard of anyone else. We've been teaching method writing for God 10 to 12 years now, I think.
Well, why don't you give everybody a little bit of background where you came from on things, and I mean, you have been a writer for years, but
Yeah,
exactly, where you came from as
an actor.
actor.
Yeah, well, when I was 19 or 20, I got accepted to study at the Lee Strasberg Theater Institute, and Lee was alive and at the time. And I studied there. Oh, somebody's joined. Let's see who has joined. Somebody's
Who's
joined. Connecting the audio. Let's see who's joined. Someone is connected.
That's kind of cool.
Hello, whoever that is. Make yourself known.
Welcome to the show.
So yeah, so then I started there at Strasbourg, and I studied there on and off for 8 years.
Hmm.
And of course, Lee, was he started with method comes from Stanislavski, and then Lee took that and it branched out to different styles of method acting. You had Stella Adler, Bobby Lewis, I mean Uta Hagen, and all that stuff. So I always wrote that way. I always wrote with the emotional part of the character first. And then when we met, we started talking about the same thing, and we started talking about, okay, let's talk about how you created characters, and it's very similar, talking about the emotional side of the character, and that's how we started writing. We called it method writing. You
I,
know,
I mean, it's true. It's like, one as a child, I didn't know I was being given method acting lessons. My parents sent me for, and my dad was a factory worker. My mom was a nurse, so there was nothing affluent in there. But we were Greek Cypriot. We were everybody in our sphere was Greeks, Italians, and Jews, and so there was no shortage of emotions. Thing.
right?
So it was like somebody would say, "Hey, you need to get in touch with your feelings, your emotions." It's like that was never a problem for Rich or for I, but for a lot of people, it's like I was always shocked by some of my non-ethnic friends. It's like you're black, you're Italian, you're Jewish, Arabic. We're very huggy. Everybody gets a kiss on the cheek. I've never seen my father-in-law one time without giving him a hug and a kiss on the cheek.
Right.
So it's just the way it is. And you see all these big guys, they look like they dropped out of a mob movie, and everybody's giving each other a hug and a kiss. We never thought anything of it. I mean, a lot of the other people that were non-ethnic were appalled. I mean, there's our black neighbors, and everybody's hugging and kissing, and here's all of us hugging and kissing, and it's like, hey, emotional people. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that couldn't get in touch with their emotions. I mean, I was always shocked when my friend, he would see his dad, and they very very stern handshake, and
Right.
not even a pat on the shoulder. It was just very cold. It's like, I said, what the hell's the matter with you? Go give your father a hug. You haven't seen him in 2 years. What's the matter with you?
Right.
We don't
Right.
do that. We don't do that.
Yeah, you can't create three-dimensional characters. All characters are three-dimensional, right? They're
Right.
spiritual, they're emotional, and they're physical. But you cannot, if you don't understand the emotions of the characters, and the emotional part of the character is really based on the point of view. All characters have to have a point of view of how they see life, right? All characters have to have a
Exactly.
point of view of how they see life. And the only way to really do that is to know the emotional state of the character. And you have to be in touch with that character. And that to me is part of the method of the writing, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, how many times we've taken a character, and, it's like they start off as a name on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And one thing is, and I think it's just in our method, and yes, we use all our principles that are in Words to Film By. You
Mhm.
know, everything that's in Words to Film By is basically, you know, the principles of screenwriting. You know, but we bring a little bit more to it. You know, with you know Rich's training in method acting. You know, the whole you know, everything that he brings from the actor studio and the Strasberg Institute, and all his training over the years, and we just put that into the character, and all of a sudden when that character becomes you know, like more believable, it becomes alive and it starts writing itself. It sounds silly. It's not like the, you know, like this image appears in front of us, but in some ways it does, because
But
it's
even
like we would write something and then, hey, what did Frank do today? Well, I'll tell you what he did, Mike. You know, and you know, Rich would, you know, lay out a list of everything that the Frank character did, and I would let him know of everything that the Tony character did. And you
but
know,
even going back to just the name, it's, you know, to be, you know, even going back to that, it's not even just a name, right? Because we give all our characters first names and last names, and then we go
absolutely
back. Okay, he's an Irish character. Okay, well, let's go back to that then, right? Then we go back. Okay, he's Irish. Was his mother Irish? His father's Irish. Then we go back and you know, we go back and start hitting that. You know, going back in time, and that's how we start building a character based on the name,
right.
right? So when we even go
Oh
back,
yeah,
it was never even just a name.
oh yeah. I mean, it's, you know, it's even easy when we were writing with Frank Vincent in mind, and
Mm.
Robert Davi, and Danny
Danny
Aiello.
Aiello, yeah.
God rest Danny's soul. Vinny Vella, you know, some of these characters that we were writing for, um, it was easy. It was easy because they had a persona about them, and you take their natural persona and the characters that they would portray, and they would fall back into it. But you
And
know,
a lot of those guys, they a lot of the characters they played really in a lot of ways were them.
what was that?
A lot of their the characters they portrayed had a lot of them in them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it was easier to write for those guys, a lot of
Oh
them.
yeah, yeah.
Not Danny as much, but like Vinny especially.
No,
Um,
Vinny.
and Frank a little bit. Frank in real life was a very put together guy,
Yeah,
you know.
very organized. Very,
Very a great actor, don't get me wrong,
yeah.
you know. But yeah, method writing, it's you know, it's everything we do, and that's where the idea came for the book, the 500 question book.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I didn't think of that.
And that idea came from when I was working with Robert De Niro on Stone.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
had a notebook, and I asked him what the notebook was. He had a just a regular, you know, a notebook, just a spiral notebook, and he had all these questions about his character, just questions handwritten.
That was actually in the old section of Jackson Prison, wasn't
Yeah,
it? That's
yeah.
uh,
And but yeah, that sounds like wow, that's impressive. So I always did character bios. When I write character bios for acting, I always write a character bio. My character is 6, character is 16, and then present day.
mm.
Things that affect us as children and affect us as adults and teenagers. You know, so that's what I do too. But when I saw that, that really affected me. I was like, wow, okay, that's deep, 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 deep. You know, and I told you about that, and then we started coming up with these intense questionnaire that turned into a book. So yeah, we're really, I think characters, everything. We don't even like write, honestly, I think I don't even know if we write like, you know, bus boy one. We give everyone names.
Oh yeah, everybody should. I mean, it's like everybody's got a name. You know, I
Right.
hate putting busboy one,
Yeah,
not
me
unless you
too.
got 20 busboys. You
Yeah, I
know,
hate
but
that too. Yeah.
that's the only reason. Otherwise, it is a character. You know what?
I feel bad for actors too when they have to play, you know, older guy one or you know, mob guy one. Give them names, man.
And
They're
we've done
first.
that. We've done that, and we've
Are you
got
kidding? Of course.
credits for that. And we hate that.
Mhm.
I don't want to be Mob Kind One. I want to be Giuseppe.
Yeah, me too. Right. And for sure. And the
I
other
mean,
thing, you know,
it even gets into the whole idea. It's like, you know, show don't tell. You know, so it's like all that everything that's behind the character development on there. You know, even though he's not saying words, it comes out in the way he's portraying it, the way the actor's portraying it, the way if the filmmaker's writing it and he's writing that backstory for the character, and the actor reads that backstory, then that actor knows how to act and how to feel and bring that feeling to the screen by showing, not saying words, just by an eye flick. Look at how much De Niro. I mean, I'm not beating up De Niro here, like thumping De Niro thumping, but I going back to Goodfellas. I mean, it's the movies that you like, right? So going back to Goodfellas, when he's sitting there and he gives that sinister smile, smoking the cigarette and having the drink at the bar, and he
You know.
looks and he knows what he's gonna do,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and the music, the
Yeah.
sound, the
Yeah.
the emotion in his eye,
Yeah.
his communication between him and the director Scorsese,
Hmm.
and what they did. If
Hmm.
you look at the original script, the shoot script,
Yeah.
none of that stuff's there.
I know.
you
Yeah.
know, which
Yeah.
you were on Goodfellas, so
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you
Well, I said this last night in my master class I was teaching. We were talking about, actors who get under 5 lines, and writers who write under 5 lines. The reason they write those things are the main job of the actor and the writer for those lines are just to further the action forward. That's all they're doing with that. And the class was saying, well, they have a hard time auditioning for those roles because that's what they know that's their job. It's just to further the scene. But I was saying, well, if you have 3 lines in a movie and the writer wrote them, they're for a reason, and they're to further the scene along. But if you play, let's say, a desk cop, and you have 2 or 3 lines, you can do gold with that. Is it the guy's first day? Is this his last day? Is he hungover? Does he have to go
yeah,
to the bathroom? Did he just have a fight with his wife on the phone? And now the main character is coming in asking for directions. There's so much you can do with 3 lines, and it's the same thing when you're writing that character. You're like you always say, the writer plays God.
yeah, absolutely. He's creating a world.
He's creating a world, so you can do whatever you want with that character. And great writers do that. They don't just put cop one, which again drives us crazy. Uh, right? George Clooney goes to cop one asking for directions. You know, you put George Clooney goes to cop one, a disheveled cop, 60s, pot belly, hungover from the night before. You add those things, and
Yeah,
that's what great writers do.
George Clooney looks down, looks at his badge number, then looks over at his name. Hey, Ralph. He goes, "You
Sure.
having a bad night, Ralph?" you know?
Yeah. So there's so much you can do with that, but a lot of writers don't. They just put cop one, and it just to further the scene. But you can do more than just further a scene.
But
Every
you
word
know,
written is for a reason.
oh yeah, and let's take it past the movies and television, but
Hmm.
like people in marketing can use that more too. Whether you're shooting a commercial, more so the informational spots like on Instagram, TikTok, and all of them.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's like telling a story using characters, building up a story and telling characters to sell your product or to do
Hmm.
something. What does it go back to? It goes back to the old soap operas. Why do they call them soap operas? Because hey, General Hospital used to sell soap in between
Yep.
the scenes, you
Yeah.
know, Oxydol and whatever, Clorox.
Everything is character driven.
Totally.
Everything. You know, if you look at it, and writers definitely don't do this, I think, and actors don't do it either. There are only 3 types of scenes. There are only 3 types of scenes. There's a fight, there's a seduction, and there's a negotiation. You can go back to Aristotle, you can go back to Shakespeare. Any scene can be broken down into those 3 things: a fight, seduction, negotiation.
Hmm.
Any scene, any scene. The genre can change, the theme can change, anything can change, but any scene can be broken down to those 3 things.
It's in that same vein. It's like you know when you write those scenes and you write those kind of things, you gotta like with the method writing, you
Hmm.
gotta write it from the heart and
Yeah.
with your emotions, and that's how you make authentic characters.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of writers, unfortunately, write one or two dimensional characters, and they're not flushed out. And that's when, and unfortunately, and a lot of I hate to say this, but a lot of people who make movies and produce movies don't understand these things that we do teach, and that a lot of writers do know, and that's when we get notes, and that's
Yeah.
what notes drive us crazy. But you have to, like, we always say, embrace the notes. And I just saw Jerry Seinfeld, doing yesterday on YouTube, and his daughter's in the business, and she just kept saying, "I hate the notes. I hate the notes." And he said, "You'll have to learn to love the notes because on the other side of the notes is the pearl. So you have to learn to love the notes." And
No kidding.
we always say, embrace the notes.
Oh, what was that on?
He's being interviewed by Tom Papa, who's another great stand-up comedian.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. So
His daughter's a screenwriter?
I don't know what she does. I don't know if she's a producer. I don't know what she does. He just said that she's in the business and she hates the notes.
Don't
which
we all?
which we can, which we can attest to. We've had many notes on many movies.
I mean, the one that hasn't been done, that we worked for years on, with one producer after another, the Idley Boys. It's we embraced everyone's notes on that, and then it kind of slowed up with COVID.
Hmm.
I think we'll be back with it again when it comes back. But it was like we completely changed that story and the dynamic. And you can't say this, you can't say that, with every producer that came on there. I don't think anybody embraced the notes as much as we did.
That's true.
The three of us, between Frank, myself,
Yeah.
and you, it's like, my God, through holidays and
Oh,
last minute meetings. And I think I was on at Disney with the kids, and I had to step
yeah.
aside to answer some notes, and it was insane,
It
with
was. It
every
was.
director, every director, every producer that got involved. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, and
Right. Yes, and right.
that's the other thing too, even in method, which Rich is not only the king of method, but he's the king of improv. Uh, you
Thank
know,
you.
improving on the writing, as you go, you're in with the group, and it's very tense. You're there with the money guy, you're there with the producer, you're there with the director, and there's money on the table, and you're waiting to get yours, and you want to make everybody happy. I mean, you, like, right out of William Goldman's mouth to me, was like, like we always say, the embrace the notes thing. It's like, hey, you want to get paid? Just, who cares? Is it yours? If you're that attached to the story, then go raise the money and do it yourself. So it's like, you want to stick around, keep
Well, writers don't understand. They can buy a script. They can buy your script from you and take your name off the script.
oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
look at Analyze This, right? I mean, Analyze This took Robert De Niro and Billy Crystal as producers to raise the money over 7 or 8 years, and at the end of the day, there's like 8 different names on that thing. So it's like you cannot be attached to your work unless, like you said, raise the money yourself, which is almost near impossible at this point. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to sell
and
it,
or you got a really damn good manager and an agent to cut you a deal that made sure that name is stuck to it like glue.
right?
You
And
know,
I'm going to take that back. You These days you can make it yourself unless you're trying to make $100 million movie. If you're trying to make it just a regular, a normal film with a normal budget, I think you can make movies these days yourselves. But if you're trying to raise money, $100 million, and you don't know anyone to raise that kind of money, that's what I'm talking about. But to make a normal hour and a half film, I think it definitely can be done these days. And that's something else we're trying to help people learn, is how to make these movies themselves.
well, that's the other thing too, that I wish Scott was here.
Yeah.
Scott is trying to build that model to help people get to that point. With the technologies that are at his fingertips.
Yes, and he will get
And he
there.
will, and it's happening. It's a storm coming in our way right now, but Scott will do this. And there's certain things that he's putting together that, I know I've said it to even my wife's nauseum and Rich's nauseum all the time. What was once in the hands of the few are now in the hands of the many.
Yeah.
Before, there was like, what, seven studios, seven distributors, and that's it. They kind of controlled everything. When the cell phone came out, there was a guy at Star Power in, what was it, in 2005 or 2003. He said, he stood up there. His name was Peter Gruber,
Mhm.
Agency of Trillions, and he stood up and he says, what's in your hands? Well, I think it was like maybe 2000 that was. What's in your hands here is going to be the future distributor, not any
Hmm.
of your studios here.
Right.
He says, and there were people yelling at him saying, you're out of your mind. He
Right.
goes, no, he goes, this will be a film. This is a venue for films. People are going to be watching films, and everybody's holding their BlackBerry and flip phones and that. And he goes, no, this is where it's going.
Yeah. And you know what, Mike? In the next couple of years, you will be able to make $100 million movie on your phone or using AI or whatever.
Oh yeah, a blockbuster.
And you will in a couple of years. You
And
know,
what did Coppola say some years back? I think he said, one day there's going to be a pregnant woman from Ohio with 7 kids that just
right.
won the Oscar for best director,
Yeah.
best
He
screenwriter.
just took a bath on his movie. It's out of the movie theaters now. It only made $10 million. He
Oh
put in a hundred.
wow.
He put $122 million of his own money into his movie. And yeah, now it's going to go streaming. So I don't know how much he's going to make back on that. I mean, he sold his vineyards. You know, he had vineyards in northern Michigan also that he sold, and so he's in a lot of trouble with that
Have
movie.
have you seen the movie yet?
I have not seen it yet. No.
Megapolis, right? Megapolis.
Yeah, yeah, I have not seen it yet, but I'm gonna see it for sure. But
Yeah, I want to see it
I
too.
hope some miraculously he can make his money back somehow. But you have to double the budget, right, to make your money back. So I don't know how he's gonna make that money back to
Well,
break
everybody
even.
was saying that he should have did a Christmas release and held off, and I heard that, and everybody has their opinion, but you
Yeah,
never know. I mean, look at back in 2001, I'm at Star Power, 300 decision makers in Hollywood. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but there
yeah,
was Schwarzenegger, and he's pushing his movie,
yeah,
Collateral Damage, which was a totally different movie, some terrorists attacking America,
right.
uh, which he kind of changed. He had to change it around, but he had $100 million of his own money in there too,
Yeah.
and it sat in the can for a long time because
Hmm.
of that. That was a big risk. You don't know. I mean, it's a terrorist attack happened. Nobody
Right,
knew 9/11 was going to happen, and it put a
right.
snafu on it. I mean, literally, he's pitching it the day before. You
Well, it's
know,
interesting that Coppola did that, right? Because the first rule in Hollywood is never use your own money. I mean, that's why De Niro and Billy Crystal took whatever it was, 10 years to analyze this because you don't use your own money. Al Pacino couldn't raise $2 million to direct his first movie. Couldn't raise $2 million. He was starring in it. Couldn't raise $2 million.
which movie was that? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I saw it. It was good. It was a good movie. But
And he
yeah,
directed it. I didn't know that. I
yeah, he
didn't.
directed it, and he ended up doing it for $1 million that he did raise eventually through different people. But he ended up doing it for $1 million, and yeah. But I mean, if Al Pacino can't raise $2 million with his name attached, it's a crazy business, and that's why
Your buddy, Billy Crystal.
my
It's
pal.
like we
Yeah.
watched him going through a stress attack on that. Rich had a nice little part on. I was just a featured extra that got a little bit of a bump in a movie called Asterisk 61 about Roger Maris going after Babe Ruth's record of 61 home runs, and the whole thing with the asterisk on there. Rich played an iconic character of this guy in Brooklyn, had a hard time with all the extras there, and it was great to work with Billy Crystal. I mean, it was amazing. It was in Tiger Stadium. Uh, the grandeur of this movie. I don't remember what the dollar figure was, but Billy Crystal put up his own money for that. Even the painting of this, he painted every chair in the stadium so it would look like
Yankee
was it
Stadium.
Yankee Stadium, and he had brought one of the original Yankee Stadium chairs there so that they could replicate it. There were thousands of extras. The cast was big. Yogi Berra showed up on set with Gordie Howe
Yeah, that was good. That
to
was a
see
good
that,
day.
and to see the guy that was portraying Yogi Berra, and I just said,
Yeah,
"Oh my God, that's Yogi Berra standing there."
yeah. That was an interesting day for me,
It,
but
it was it was a great 3 weeks for me, man.
we got through it. We got through it,
Got
but
through it, but he ended up in there with all his money in there, and he made his money back,
Hey,
and
honey.
then he sold it again.
right.
You know,
Uh,
so it was
I don't
amazing.
know. I guess a little better. Just still runny nose, scratchy throat. I made soup and sandwich.
Hello,
You run.
who's that? Who's
Hey
with the
there.
scratchy nose? Who is
Somebody,
that?
I don't know.
I
Hi
heard
there.
somebody saying that they got a scratchy nose and a throat.
Oh, sorry. I
You're
didn't know it was
okay.
on live. It's Ted.
You're
Oh, hey,
okay.
who is this?
It's Teddy.
Oh, hey, Ted.
Hi, how are you? I've been watching it and enjoying it. I'm sorry I didn't mean to speak.
No,
That's
that's okay.
okay.
That's okay.
We got to go anyway. It's a half hour. Our half hour is up, man.
Yeah, we
But
appreciate you dropping in.
Well,
Yeah.
I enjoyed every second of it. It's just terrific.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really learning a lot.
We'll
All right.
be here every Tuesday and Thursday, and hoping to get more in there. We'll have the transcript up this week, and we'll have a copy of the video up there too.
I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
Well, Mike, I guess we'll continue this on Tuesday.
Sounds good. I mean, also we'll let everybody know we do have a book on method screenwriting coming up. Maybe it'll be out hopefully by Christmas. We'll see.
Yeah.
And not to mention check often. Rich has a book. I'm not schlepping too much, but for anybody that's going to see this video or anyone, he has a book on improv. It's called Something from Nothing, and it's a great book. We have our Words to Film by screenwriting book, which hey, if you sign up for the full program, you get the book along with it, and the classes and all. Then there's the 500 questions to ask your fictional character that Rich and I have up on Amazon. If anybody gets up there and
Go to
takes
the
a look at it,
website.
give us a click, give us a like, and appreciate anybody's reviews, good or bad. We'd love to hear anything back. So until next Tuesday, this is Mike and Rich, and thank you very much for dropping in.
Take care. Bye.
Take care, guys.